And welcome to the Talon Outdoors Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
And I'm Grant. Paul Tire.
Captain Paul Tire. There's Grant. And we have special in the studio this week is filling in for Fred.
Somebody a little bit taller.
Well,
just as bald.
Chair, not with that chair just down there like that, Dale.
I know, right? I didn't want to mess him up when he come back. He'd be jumping, trying to get in the chair, you know.
We got Dale Bessie in the studio.
Yeah, Dale Bessie, a.k.a. Dr. Fish, and whatever else you want to call me.
We can't say all that on the air, Dale. There's some things, we have some standards.
I'm just trying to fill in for Paul.
We're trying to do a family-friendly show this week since Fred's not here. We won't have all the innuendo and the under the table talk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fred can't help talk under the table because that's where he has to sit.
I know. I'm too tall to get under there.
Called Dale provider of summer's barbecue for lunch.
Yeah, that was good.
My belly's full of brisket.
I'm going to tell you something. That's some good food over there. Ain't no
I got to
doubt
find
about it, man. I wouldn't never known about it if JD hadn't have told me, and now I'm driving halfway across the world to get to a sandwich every week.
Yeah, I forgot. I hadn't been in the restroom there since I went there when it was the Riverfront Saloon, and I forgot there was a trough full of ice in there you had to pee in. And I walked in and I went, oh, that's brought back. I had like flashbacks.
Deja vu.
You sure that was the bathroom?
Bunch of drunk guys leaning up against the wall trying to hit that trough. And you're trying to wash your hands and your rear end's touching the rear end of a guy peeing in the trough. And that's just, that's exactly what happened.
That's when the fight started.
Been there, seen that. Paul was eating there. He looked like he was having some nervous tics or something. Something apparently bad happened to him once there. I don't know.
Tell you what, I ain't been over there in 30 years, I don't guess. It's been a long time. I didn't know that place was even there. But Summer's Barbecue, y'all need to go check that place out. It was good. I have to admit, that was really good.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Paul got a little green around the gills. I ain't going in there.
We walked up there. We walked up that restaurant. Paul looked at me and goes, Dale, I can't go in there. He said, I walked in there 20 years ago, and I didn't come home for 2 weeks.
I still got a trespass warning, I think. I don't know.
I said, it's okay, buddy. It's a restaurant now.
Some of us, in theory, may have swam away from that place.
Hey, man, there's a river the river runs through it, you know.
Yeah.
Great food, though. Great food.
Food's awesome.
And great people, too.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, man.
So y'all was out playing on the lake this morning?
Yeah, we were out there getting
no reeling rod, no fishing tackle in the boat. Dale, I'm disappointed.
I know it's actually, now that the whole world knows, it's a sin, and I committed it. But I tell you what we did. Captain Paul Tire's got some skills when it comes to dialing in electronics. Your Lowrance, your Garmin's, that kind of thing. I had no idea what I was using. Depth finder, navigation, fancy 9-inch screen, touch screen. And my machine was messed up beyond recognition, and man, he got it dialed in, and now I can see fish's shadows. I'm like, well, as long as you tell me which one's a shadow and which one's the fish, I'll be all right.
That's awesome.
Well, as you catch one, you catch both, right?
So that's right.
Yeah, one goes with the other.
They don't separate. If that happens, you've been at the riverfront too long.
Run. There's something in that mustard sauce.
Run.
But I can tell you right now, we seen Paul. I mean, you can back me up here. We seen some big schools of fish.
Yeah, definitely some big schools of crappie. The crappie out on Talcott right now, they're still out there in that deep water.
Hold on, not on this show. We don't eat crop.
No,
crop.
No crap.
Sac-a-lait.
Sac-a-lait. Okay.
Sac-a-lait.
Yeah, the sac-a-lait.
Yeah.
JD is single-handedly trying to change the local vernacular when it comes.
Yes, I am.
I'm all for
now,
it.
sac-a-lait, that comes from Louisiana, doesn't it?
That's correct.
That's what I thought.
That is what a speckled perch or crappie, whatever.
Crappie.
They just have the
paper mouths.
They have the coolest name, so let's pick that and stick with
Sac-a-lait.
it.
That's right.
Do you really want to fry something up and eat it called crappie?
I know.
I mean, what'd you
We're
have
having
supper?
crappie tonight.
I didn't ask how good it was. I said, "What'd you eat, crappie?" I mean, it just sac-a-lait just sounds exotic and gourmet.
I saw something on Amazon today. So you can buy this thing on how to speak Cajun.
Huh.
You can learn how to speak Cajun. And
Joodle.
I'll tell you what. You talking about coming out of Louisiana? I saw something on the way in here today from Louisiana that scared me a little bit.
There's a lot of scary things.
I'm tooling along on the interstate, listening to radio and
right.
And all of a sudden, there's a reference to a song in there somewhere.
Yep.
So I'm tooling along. And
Tooling
but I was
along
in a
in your
Ford.
Chevrolet.
But I was in a Ford, and I look in my
Smoking a number
rearview
and
mirror.
digging on
And
the radio.
Here comes this little car that is like must be doing 90-something miles an hour.
Oh.
And I was like, let me get out of. I couldn't even change lanes to get out of their way. And a white pickup truck right behind them, 4-wheel drive with wide tires and rims, and just right on their tail. And as they went by me, I realized that 90-something miles an hour, he was pulling a trailer. A single axle trailer, not just
The
trailer.
little car was pulling the.
No, the truck was pulling the trailer
Okay.
at 90-something miles an hour, and the trailer was crooked.
Oh my God!
And as he went by, it was all bent up, and the tires are splayed out. And one of them's about half flat, and all the doors bent up. I mean, like you had just crushed it with something. 90-something miles an hour, and I was like, wonder where he's from. Louisiana. and here my first thought was, and you and I know how bad the roads are in Louisiana. He's
Just slightly better than South Carolina.
You know how when you get on a road that's really smooth and you look down and all of a sudden you're going way faster than you thought you were because it doesn't feel it's just a smooth road. He was on a smooth Florida road, not in Louisiana. I don't think he realized how fast he's going. But that's scary. You know, somebody driving down the road with a trailer that's just about to fall apart.
I think Louisiana's roads are so bad they're just trying to give Mississippi somebody to look down on, because the roads in Mississippi are bad. You know, the roads in Mississippi are bad. The roads in Louisiana are way worse. That's just kind of like when you leave Georgia and go into South Carolina. It's an immediate. There ain't no question about what state you're in, because it goes from Georgia's big highways and big roads are pretty doggone good. Alabama's ain't bad in most places until you get around the big cities. Man. Louisiana, you better go to the dentist before you go to driving through Louisiana, because the fillings are likely to turn loose out of your teeth. Now, there ain't no doubt.
What's that? I made my wife laugh the other night. I mean, she laughed hard. I said, well, I'm glad I can still make you laugh. We were eating something. She orders these meals. She just shut up. She orders these meals that in a box that come. You just got all the ingredients. And, it comes with the recipe. I can do it, too, but I pretend I can't. And they come in, and it's got this orzo or something, like it's some sort of pasta.
Oh. Okay.
But it's like 3/4 of an inch long, about almost like this
macaroni cut
shape.
in half?
I don't know, but I said, this is pretty good stuff, baby. This chicken and fat rice is pretty good. And she looked at me and said, what? I said, I don't know what it is. It's
fat rice.
It's fat rice. It tastes like fat rice. It looks and tastes like fat rice. And now that's forevermore fat rice.
Chicken and fat rice.
I don't know what. She told me what it was. And she said, it's pasta. I said, how do they make pasta?
They got pasta. What is that stuff? I can't. There is a pasta that is about the size of grits.
Yep.
And I can't remember what it's called.
My wife made that for me one time. I remember looking at it, and I told her, I said, what in the world's in that pot right there? I said, she goes, well, that's pasta. I said, no.
Them some horrible grits.
Oh, man. I tell you, I thought the grits had been in the pot too long, done swelled up.
That's what I call them. That's the worst grits I ever had. Them ain't grits.
I hear you.
If you turn your nose up at grits,
right
orzo.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Maybe it's something smaller.
Yeah, but no, I can't remember what that stuff's called either. But it's bad. I mean, that's like, why just eat grits?
Yeah,
we're from the South. It's grits.
I mean, it's either spaghetti or grits.
Anyway, that fat rice was good.
Fat rice was good.
Yeah, and there's some sort of sauce and stuff in there, and it's different. Rice. It's different.
All right then. I'm glad you made your wife laugh with the fat rice.
I always tell Wendy, I said, it's all the same once it hits the palate, I said, so it's all good as long as it fills the belly.
Well, we've had a busy week, and we had I got a piece of a gun collection, and getting the rest of it next week sometime. And so the next segment, we're going to do show and tell. And get to talk about all that. So, but anyway, what you got going on this week? This weekend.
Quick story. Now I'll do it next segment. Grant's holding up 5 fingers before he gets down to that 1 finger. I'm trying to.
I thought he was waving high at everybody.
Hey, anyway, we'll be back. And we're back. So, real quick, so we started frying fish again when we went fishing.
Yeah.
And came back with all that sacale. And fried that up for the family. When I kind of got a while here, we got the fish fryer out, got everything set up, and so we started. And so we had, I guess, my boy's birthday party. We decided to have a fish fry at the house, and my stepdad Robert I said, hey, you got some catfish, because they go set bush hooks on the big river and come back with an ice chest full of it. And so he goes, yeah. So he brought over, and I told him on the last show, I said, we fried some fish and got some stuff together. Yeah, so I love cold catfish. So I'll fry it up the next day. I'll eat cold catfish for days. And what I'll do is I'll take some ketchup and some my mama's hot sauce, and I'll mix it together. So I got some spicy ketchup, and I go in there and dip those cold catfish fillets in there. I don't even put them in the refrigerator half the time, because they usually don't last but a day or so. And so the other day, we had fried some up. He left me 3 bags. I only found 2 under the ice, and I fried those up. And then the next night, I gave him his ice chest back, and I realized there's a 3rd bag. So I fried that one up and refried the French fries so they were nice and crispy and warm, and we had fish again. And so I had a couple pounds of fried catfish sitting there on the stove. And I'm like, I'm set. I'm going to eat Friday night. I come home Friday after the show. We recorded the show last week. I'm going to go home and I'm going to eat cold catfish. And I got home and I walked in the house, and all afternoon I've been thinking I'm going to go home and eat that cold catfish. I walked in the house and I looked, and the tins were washed and in the sink. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, occasionally my wife has someone come in, and now my wife always pre-cleans the house, but to finish, refine, mopping and wiping stuff down. And I'm like, okay, well, dang, look at that. She must have put it in a Ziploc bag and stuck it in the refrigerator. So I go to the refrigerator, open it up. No, it's not in there. I said, well, we got an outside fridge. I said, well, maybe she put it out there. I went out there and opened the door. No. I said, well, what in the world?
Where's my catfish?
Where's my catfish at? Well, I sent my wife a text and said, where did they put the catfish? I thought, well, maybe she said she could take it home or something. Because to me, this is a commodity. This is a win-win. You got cold catfish, you're good to go. She goes, hang on a minute. She gets and sends me she threw it away. And I said, so I'm like, well, so, okay, it was in paper towels in that aluminum thing. And she just sets the trash bag on the back porch. So I ain't proud.
Yeah, boy.
Get her done.
I go out there, and I'm like, well, if she just wadded it up and threw it in there and didn't pour a bunch of nasty stuff on top of it, I'm good. I'm golden. As a teenager, I've eaten out of the McDonald's dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, they throw those
Hanging around
cheeseburgers away because Big Macs, because they'd been sitting under the heat lamp too long. You watch them go out there with a trash bag, and if you time it just right, you can eat.
Old
I
trash
ain't done that since. That's been a long time ago.
And they were probably still warm.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, they were warm. They're a little crispy because they've been in the heat lamp too long. They have a time limit on that. That's why they cook a lot of stuff to order nowadays, to avoid the waste and the corrupt employees that would tell you when.
Hey, the trash burgers are going out. Y'all might want to get on up here.
You know what time they do that, right? So I go out there and I go to open that trash bag up. This is sad. I'm 57 years old and I ain't hurting for resources. And I go out there and open that thing up, and I'm looking. And then I caught that had something in that bag was nasty, and I'm like, no, I just can't do it.
Brother, I'll get you some catfish.
That's wanting some fried catfish.
And my wife's like, she felt bad, and I'm like, yeah, so did I. Bless her heart. I mean, in most homes you come in, there's leftover fish on the stove and wrapped. Just you figure
Paul, I don't believe
trash.
I told that.
Not my household.
That's loving catfish.
Listen, I eat leftovers. I'm to the garbage disposal in the house. And my kids come in. We get Chinese, and if it's in the fridge, they get like a day and a half, 2 days to eat it. If they don't eat it, it's in the microwave. I'm eating it. So I go in there and I'm testing stuff. Going, I don't know that Dickey's barbecue that's a week and a half old is still any good, but I'm gonna find out. I figure if you nuke it for a second, there ain't nothing growing on it.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm just doing good things for the environment. I'm trying not to waste anything.
That's right.
So I told so Devin Bruner, that is a firefighter in Tallahassee that worked here part time. I don't think he does anymore since he got through with school, but he's Anyway, he had an uncle that has recently passed away, and Devin's helping his aunt get rid of his uncle's gun collection. And Mr. Wayne LeClaire was his name. And Mr. LeClaire, I don't know where you are, but you have a fantastic taste in firearms, and one of the coolest collection of guns I think I've ever seen is one individual. Very spanned across, different countries and classic stuff. So Devin brought in a bunch of guns this week, put on consignment, and I've got one of them for the folks watching us on YouTube here. That is a beautiful example of an 1886 Winchester lever action shotgun. So this gun was designed in 1886, and they manufactured them up through the turn of the century, 1903, 1905, somewhere in there. This is a later, just after the turn of the century gun. And it's a 12 gauge. Most of these guns were actually chambered in 10 gauge. More of them were made in 10 gauge than they were 12 gauge. But just an absolutely iconic piece. If you ever saw the movie Terminator, the first original Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, the shotgun he takes from the biker dude when he steals his jacket and his motorcycle, the little sawed-off shotgun that he had, this is it. And this is the model with the stock cut off and the barrel cut down. But just a beautiful piece. Also in the collection was a 1873 Winchester in 4440 with a musket-length barrel. So you never see those guns. The old cowboy 1873s you see in movies all the time. You and I both have replicas of them that we shoot in cowboy. This one has a
odd because it's so long.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
24-inch barrel. So this big long barrel with real fine sights on it. He had a Brazilian contract, Smith & Wesson 1917, that was made in 1938 that is in pristine condition. So these and a lot of other things. There's a Martini Henry small frame in there from the Australian. It's a cadet rifle from the Australian Commonwealth, Queen Victorian era, Australia. One of their little military training rifles where they would teach cadets to shoot with this single shot Martini Henry, chambered in 32-20, so they could actually get small pistol cartridge kind of chambering. Then you can still get ammo for it. And then when they graduated from the military academy, they handed them the same gun in a large frame in 5.77 caliber, and that's what they went off and took to Africa and all over the British Empire. It was the issued single shot rifle for the British Empire for a long time, and a lot of the Boer Wars in Africa and some of the stuff. But they England would conscript soldiers, conscripts. From their colonies, and this is back when Australia was a commonwealth or colony of England. And it's got Queen Victoria's, got VIC on it. It's got a kangaroo stamped on it. It's got the Commonwealth of Australia stuff on it. Just really cool. I ended up when he first started cleaning out this collection. I think I totaled it up the other day. I've got four of the guns that I kept personally, just because you never see them. Yeah. So right now in the shop, we've got some cool things, some cool guns for sale that you can buy that you may not ever see another one in a gun store because they haven't been made. Some of the younger ones were made in the 1930s. Wow. And there's some older stuff. But we got a 16 gauge Parker side by side double barrel for those that know what that is. An LC Smith. And a 1900 Remington, model 1900 Remington side-by-side. So the three best shotguns from that era, we've got one of each of them in there. So American-made shotguns.
Sounds like a package deal for somebody right there.
Yeah, and they're priced to sell. But they're just, if nothing else, they're cool to come look at. It's just like you said, Dale. You've never seen one of these, and you may never see another one, especially for sale.
I am very impressed. I've literally never seen anything like that in my life, and everything. Now, does that? It looks like it could hold multiple shells. I guess?
It was the first Winchester shotgun that you can put. So this bottom tube below the barrel,
yes, sir.
That's a tubular magazine like you would see in a modern semi-automatic or pump shotgun. You open the action on it and load the shells in right there, and then work the action, and you have a lifter in there, works like a pump, sort of. it lifts the shell up and feeds one into the chamber.
And what year? I mean,
This one was manufactured, I think looked it up the other day, I think 1903. But this
1903.
this came out in 1886. This one has fluid steel barrel, and it's a 12 gauge. It does have a shorter chamber because the shotgun shells of the day were 2 5/8 inches long instead of 2 3/4. But a competent gunsmith can open the chamber up that extra.
And what
whatever.
kind of stock is that? What kind of wood you think?
It's walnut.
Walnut.
American
It's
walnut.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one beautiful weapon right there. It's just really stunning.
Yeah, it's most of these have zero bluing left on them. This is not a reblue. It's got some, it's 120 years old, so it's got some rusty spots in places that the bluings come off and shiny. But as far as condition goes, this is, probably a 70 to 80% gun.
It's pristine.
80% of its original finish, but you do have some. You see where that's kind of turning silver and brown under there, and that's because somebody holding it. That's because somebody's hand wore that finish off there. So
and used it.
yeah, and it still functions absolutely perfect.
See, in my mind, I look at a gun like that, and I'm like, what did you hunt with? I mean, where was that gun? Where did you use to hunt? Deer, bear, hog? What?
Yes,
who
yes,
knows?
and turkeys and whatever. The shotgun, everybody that talks about the Colt Peacemaker and the 1873 rifle as being the gun that won the West. In reality, the gun that won the West was the shotgun, because everybody that got on a stagecoach or got on a covered wagon going west at least had a double barrel shotgun, or if they were really wealthy, they had one of these.
Nice.
Well, we'll be back in a minute with more of the Talon Outdoor Road Show. And we're back. So, in Dothan, we now have gun safes in the shop, along with the whole Vertex selection that we've got over here. So the new higher end bags, we've got all these bags and accessories, and we've got, I think, what brand did we get? We got Winchester safes up there.
Browning?
And no,
Brownings?
it's not Browning. I think it's Winchester's. But and those can be delivered as part of the deal. Same thing we have here in Tallahassee, and Midway is if you've got, it can come with delivery depending on what you want to pay for. Ultimately, we're not going to pull them out of the shop and take them anywhere. You buy them.
Professional delivery.
They price it.
Professional delivery.
Yes, somebody other than us will bring one from the warehouse. You're not going to buy the one that's in the store. You're going to buy one from the warehouse.
That looks just like it, and they're going to bring it to you.
Yeah, it might be serial number 2 digits different, but it will be the same thing coming. And you can have some customization done. But I'll tell you what, with these big ones that we've got. There's one up there that has a massive amount of shelves and storage and stuff. So we've got those in there now too. And you really should check out those Vertex bags if you're into higher end bags, tactical bags, carry bags, fanny
Highly
packs,
accessorizable.
Yes.
Is that a word? You can accessorize.
Yes.
Ask your wife if you listen to this and you don't know what that means. Ask your wife. You can add things. You can add things to the bags.
They're designed to carry
Modular
guns and stuff, and so
stuff.
inside the bag is basically Velcro. And then the accessories are also Velcro type things. And you go in there, and I want a magazine pouch. I just stick it in there and put magazines in it. It's got a lot of my bail out bag. My bug out bag is one of those now.
I just got a cheap bag, and all that stuff flops around in there. So I got to look like a raccoon trying to find a crawfish up under a log. Reach around in there. Oh, that's what I'm looking for right there.
Well, if I carried this bag in the wrong place, I can't say that I didn't think about it, because it is designed specifically to carry guns.
Oh, you mean like an airport?
As opposed to other bags that one might get lost in inadvertently and cost you
Like an airport?
over $2,000 in a fine. I'm just saying. If that were to happen, in theory,
Who belongs to this?
how did a suppressed 22 get in there?
Ooh-wee.
Well, I wondered where that was. I've been looking for
that.
thing
I'm glad you
weeks.
found it.
I looked everywhere except there.
Oh Lord!
I'm just saying,
That was the start of one of our wonderful adventures to South Dakota, I think, wasn't it?
Y'all don't never forget that trip that I didn't make the plane in time. and was standing
And then you
outside the
did?
door, and they finally said, "Hey, we've been delayed. We're pulling a guy off. You want his seat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And went and got in there and sat down, and that's about the time they decided that they were just going to cancel the flight.
That was that's when we were going to Indianapolis for the NRA annual meeting that year.
We flew, what's that big yellow thing?
Ooh, Sprint.
Spirit. Spirit.
Ooh, Spirit. That's
yeah.
it, Spirit Airlines.
Spirit Airlines, where you got to pay
Man.
for everything. You want to wear your shoes on the plane? That's an extra $20. Everything is.
I was on Spirit Air. I firmly expected to see a chicken come flying down. You seen those movies with the third world country
I was
little
expecting Indiana
converted.
Jones to come jump out the door or something. It was one of those.
You see the people with crates full of chickens and their goats sitting next to them. Yeah, that's Spirit Airlines right there.
I think we laughed the whole trip. If you'd like to purchase,
Yeah, that's if you ever get the opportunity to fly Spirit. Now I will say this: it cost us $89 to go from Orlando to Indianapolis.
Man, it don't get no cheaper than that, does it? Chickens or no
trying to
chickens.
rent a car. We were trying to rent a car where we had to go to. We were at Tallahassee Airport. Couldn't rent a car because they didn't have any available. It was family homecoming weekend. Remember?
Yep.
They wouldn't rent us a car. Your wife went online
And rented
one, and we walked right back up to the
To the
same
lady that
counter
just told us
to
no.
the same woman that said we don't have a car for you, and said
Confirmation
"You have a
number."
reservation. And
She shakes her head. Boy, she was mad. I mean, made her mad. I said, "I have a confirmation number, ma'am."
and not only that, we're taking it to Orlando and
Leaving it. And it was a Toyota Tic Tac. I don't know if you're familiar with that model of car or not, but it was.
You should have seen us in that thing.
It'd go in the bed of my truck. I'm pretty sure.
Like
Clown car.
Briggs and Spratt and 5-horse running that thing with a centrifugal clutch.
With you guys.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
We are.
Yeah. We talk about so much stuff on the breaks. When we get back on the air, I'm like,
Where
we're
were
gonna
we?
talk about it. Y'all just told all the stories off the air.
We wasn't talking. Well, we didn't tell the stories that
I
time.
was ignoring
We were
y'all.
just
I wasn't paying
continuing the saga of the
little car
little car.
and the stuff.
Yeah,
flying
that's
down
quite
the road and
unnerving when
scaring
you
us.
have a car that would fit in the bed of the pickup truck and two guys that are 6'3",
Man, please.
250 pounds apiece in the
I've
front
seen
seat.
that car at the circus.
Yeah, and that's about what it looked like.
And it rolled out, and it had clowns coming out both sides.
And we were going down I-75 at everything that thing would do with me and him in it. And I look up, and you see this giant, bigger than my fist, this big piece of something bouncing down the left-hand lane, and I'm doing 90 miles an hour, and this thing is just bouncing down the road, getting closer and closer.
I just scooch down in the seat and hope it doesn't hit me in the face when it comes through that.
Man, you ain't lying.
Well,
Well, turned out it
I'll
was
tell you
it was a
something.
bump stop off of somebody's suspension, one of them big chunks of rubber.
Yeah, man.
And that thing luckily timed out just right that it hit the hood of the car and bounced over the car instead of coming through the windshield.
That's some
See,
dangerous stuff.
we were going to that thing, and that year I think we sent a truck and
yeah,
trailer
yeah, we did with our
to
booth.
the show with our booth
Product
in
and
it with
stuff.
two of our employees. And we were going to
Be big wigs.
and highfalutin and fly
Pick
in
us
the
up at
day
the
of the
airport,
show,
boys.
and then have them pick us up, and then we were going to go to the show, do our thing, and then fly on back to the house and let them haul that trailer and all that junk down there. We were trying to be, those guys. Yeah, they write movies about stuff like this, and they're called comedies. And it was, oh man, it was. I'm
It's
surprised somebody didn't get shot somewhere along the way. Because JD and I don't have a lot of luck in airports.
Oh, no.
When we go places together through airports, there's always some sort of drama. It's either JD getting patted down in some perverse manner, or which I always enjoy watching,
And it never fails.
or me
Friends for life.
forgetting something was in my bag, or me running late, or it was what year? Oh, it's the luggage. The
Luggage
when
getting
we
lost.
fly with guns. Apparently, there's a certain required number of locks. If there's a hole in the box, it's got to have a lock in it. And that's been, JD's been. I've had to just count to 3. JD, take a deep breath, and go down to the vending machine and buy him locks more than once. And then there's the lost luggage in Atlanta, where we were about to crawl through the little door there and go find our luggage.
I could see it down there on the trailer.
Well, we found out later on that it had made the flight we missed. How our luggage got from Las Vegas to Atlanta and got on the airplane
to Tallahassee, and we didn't,
and was there when we were in Atlanta and didn't catch the flight.
Yeah, we watched our luggage take off.
Y'all sure you weren't on FedEx or UPS, one of them planes?
No, man. It's just I tell people this all the time. They say, there's a reason we own that big black van out there. And so when we want to go somewhere, we go get in it and start heading that way because it's just.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything that's going to make me fly anytime soon again.
Hey, man, what about that door coming off that jet? Was it Alaskan jet or whatever?
Yeah.
You were talking about the other airline earlier called Spirit Airline. I'm going to tell you something. If I'm in a jet and the door flies off like that, my spirit's going with it.
Not the only thing that's going with it. Your rear end's going too, probably.
No, they would have landed a lot quicker if I'd been in there. I can tell you that right now because it got stinky quick.
Well, I've never had any of them real close calls on the airplane, but they sure managed to find a way to my normal gentle soul that I am. They find a way to push my buttons in an airport.
My wife's wanting me to get on a jet.
Gentle soul, my rear end.
Well, that's me, you know.
You were ticking time bomb, dude. What are you talking about? Your fuse is about,
I just got no, man, I got no tolerance for just stupidity and illogical behavior. I just don't. I can't help it.
It's always a challenge taking you anywhere where you have to interact with people that are not of average intelligence or systems and rules that don't make sense.
That don't make sense. Yeah, that's a fact.
I had the same thing, but when I'm with you, I know you're going to react to it, and I have to keep a modicum of sanity and calmness because somebody's got to keep you out of jail. But JD, just stop. Just come here.
I have managed to stay out of jail for 55 years and 11 months and 3 weeks.
Doing good so far.
Well, what about got us in trouble in Atlanta was we had our wives with us, and when we are together and we have our wives keep us calm down. Our wives keep us out of trouble until they walk away to go get a rental car. Which is what happened. Yeah. And it's just me and you dealing with the idiocy and all that stuff. And it's an idiocracy that runs that airport anyway.
I was trying not to catch a contempt of court charge at that particular moment. If you recall, I had to testify on a child molester case the next morning.
Trying to get home.
It had to be in court at 8 o'clock to put a child molester in prison forever. And, I wanted to be there for that. And this, it's one of them things where, you're not going to get there today from here. We've had that happen to us leaving Tallahassee and trying to get back to not going to happen today. I'm like, well, why did I plan this? Why did I make why do I have a reservation if we can't make it happen today? So.
I think who was it? It was me and you and my wife in Vegas when my wife tried to start a fight one time, wasn't it?
That was
in the tram.
No, we were all four there.
Were we four?
Yeah, Annie was there
then?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was Donna tried to start a fight with a young man with a loud radio.
Definitely Donna.
Yeah, that's right up her alley. So guys wearing a headset
like these, except
like
the real good ones. The
on his shoulders turned outwards to where the speakers are projecting towards other people,
and some old nasty rap music with bad,
and it just we were in one of those trams that goes from one casino to the other,
like a sky cart.
Well, suffice to say, we almost got in a fight. But he was a young man, and we were just standing there. He wanted to challenge all of us, and we're just kind of sitting there going, I don't think that's going to work out well for you.
No.
Turns out,
considering the women alone to kick his butt.
Well, first off, you're in town for the biggest gun show in the world, so you got to be careful who you mess with. And so we're on the show floor like the next day, and we look over, and here's this kid with his dad, and his dad was some big wig muckety-muck with some big gun company or something, and we're like, wouldn't that be something? You had to go back and tell your corporate board how your son got his rear end whooped on a tram because he was playing his music too loud by two old rough cops that just wasn't going, or one of them's wife.
I was going to say, I tell you right now, I'm sure of it 100% that Miss Donna could have took it.
No, we're looking for cameras and going, how many cameras are there in here?
That's exactly what we're doing. Looking
evidence.
We're looking around
I wonder
going.
if we stomp a mud hole where this boy sits, if they're gonna get us on video.
We made eye contact with the other people on the tram, and they were in
like-
agreement.
They were like, yeah, go ahead. We got you.
Yeah,
we got
go,
you.
go on.
We
go ahead.
witnesses. we witness for you. He's got it coming.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That one.
my wife's one has to calm me down.
Well,
and
one
that
of the
was-
guys on that thing with us, after we got off, we're walking away. He goes, "I wish y'all had stomped his butt."
Man, I'll tell you what.
And all we did was say,
That's
"Hey,
a
man."
rude punk.
We always said was, "Hey, man, do you mind turning that down? Because nobody
Yeah.
but you wants to hear it,
That's right.
or put your headphones on."
Yeah.
And just that manner. I mean, it wasn't
That's
like
right.
a rude.
Well, if he ain't had his butt beat by now, I'm sure he will eventually. So, that's the way the rich kids are, man. They think they can get away with it. Eventually, you grow up and you go meet grown-ups. And when that happens...
that kid's probably in his 30s by now.
Or 40s, who knows?
Now would be a really good time to go get him.
He may not be with us no more.
He might
have
not.
done met that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's
We missed a SHOT Show this year. Didn't you miss going to Las Vegas this year at SHOT Show?
not for a half a
it
second
was
did
last
I miss
week.
any of that. I actually, saw some pictures of Vegas, and I'm like, it'd be kind of cool. If I ever go to Vegas again, it is not going to be for a trade show. I don't think.
I don't mind going to the trade show. I mind going to Vegas. So if they'll ever have it back in Orlando again, I'd probably go. But
I miss eating that sushi out there.
I do miss that. I miss the hole in the wall little Italian restaurant and places things like that. But I don't miss the rest of the atmosphere out there.
It's blending the two things is, and I don't know what I'd do in Vegas. For some of the shows are okay, but they're not. I'd rather go to, what's that liberal amusement park down South Florida, Disney.
Yeah.
The something like that. They got shows too.
Yeah.
You can take your kids if you just
Kind of like Vegas. You
have
don't
to
know what you're looking
filter-
at.
Have to filter everything they hear down there.
You got to do the check.
No, I ain't checking.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Before we get to the fishing segment, I want to start talking about an event that you and I are going to help set up towards the end of March in Mariana that benefits the Mariana FFA.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that
I'm
one.
going to say, what you done wrote me into now?
There's others, but that's the one I can think of right now. So yeah, if you're in the Wiregrass area or North Florida, anything, there's now I was approached about consulting briefly on a sporting clay or a skeet tournament originally to benefit the Mariana FFA, Mariana High School FFA chapter. And they just wanted to, I know we were looking at some options and stuff. Somehow or another, after sitting in the board meeting, we're going to be having this thing at my farm, and we've got Corey Howell at Howell Shooting Supply is going to bring down 20 machines or more, and we're going to set up 10 stations of sporting clays, just the way it is here at the range.
Well, not just the way, but we're going to set it up.
Similar, and you won't have houses shoot out of it all, but you'll have, and we're going to get it set up with 10 stations. It is going to be on, and I'm looking at the brochure here, on March the 29th, south of Mariana, 10 miles down there, about where I stay. And about where I stay, we'll be meeting under my carport to deploy. We'll have some ammo for sale, but you should be bringing it's 5-person teams. We'll be dropping the lowest score. So if you got somebody that wants to come, but you want to win, you can bring them anyway. Lunch will be provided from 12 to 12:30. I guess you better eat fast. Some door prizes. The first flight's at 9 in the morning. The second flight is at 12:30 in the afternoon.
That's 9 in the morning Central Standard slow time.
That would be
slow time.
Yeah, that would be what's that? 10 o'clock Tallahassee.
10 o'clock Tallahassee
okay.
time.
And so anyway, so it's a team of 5 shooters is $625, and there are still some sponsorships available. So a lot of stuff. If you need information, you can call up here to the store and ask for me, or you can reach me on my email, charlie@talontraining.com. and I will send you
Excuse me, I didn't
some
mean to
stuff.
kick you. Sorry.
I thought you were kicking me because
No,
you didn't
I'm
want to give
not.
out my email.
No.
Or JD at
I will kick you. I will really kick you.
JD's cell
I
phone
bumped
is
you.
85.
BR549.
Yes,
But anyway,
that
if
is my
anybody's interested
correct
now,
deal.
if you got a company, you can.
Going to be 100 targets per shooter. You
Yes.
didn't mention that, so
Yeah.
it's you need at least, and I would recommend bringing 5 boxes of shells, which is a half a case, but 4 boxes is a minimum to shoot 100 targets. So bring extras in case we have to reshoot a thing, and I'm going to come over and help you set the course and
Set up, yeah. And so if you're and ideally, if I were doing this as a business, I would do the $750 corporate sponsor that comes with the 5-shooter team and advertising, which will be at their banquet and all that stuff. And then they've got
that you probably could write off 100% of
as advertising, which is why I said,
See?
and if it says advertising, that's what it's going to be, is advertising. And then so. There's more than one way to skin this cat, but
Say it
all of
one
this
more
money,
time.
all of this this money goes back to the local chapter there. They want to make it an annual
which is
event.
important because we need farmers. We need kids that grew up in the farming world to stay there sometimes because we like to eat.
Yeah,
It's important.
yeah,
Eating is
absolutely.
important.
There's a lot of industry around agriculture that you don't have to own a farm and tractors to be in agriculture. There's there's so much involved. Anyway, so on to fishing. Our fishing segment. So what's going on in the fishing world?
Man, I tell you what, it's the beginning of February, and the big bass they're staging up, getting ready. They're into pre-spawn mode on Lake Seminole right now. The bass bite's been pretty good. The crappie bite, they have kind of moved out of the deeper water. Succulate. That's right, succulate. The succulates have moved out of that deeper water and moving into the areas where they're going to be spawning. Been seeing some actually on the bed already.
Really?
And that's a difference between Lake Talquin. Lake Talquin stays a little bit cooler, and Lake Talquin, the crappie are still out in the deeper waters on the edge of the creek channel, the river channels, and the mouths of the major creeks. But man, I talked to a guy this morning that's been catching about 18 to 22 foot of water, which on Seminole we was doing that about 3 weeks ago, and they're starting to move shallow now. But man, this going the next couple months, for the bass bite is really a great time to fish right now. You remember it, JD?
Oh, yeah.
Them big bass they start staging up in schools by size. I mean, you could come across a school of fish and catch 5-6 pounders. You know what I mean?
And if you catch one that size, there's probably several more of them right there in the area.
That's
And
right. And some
I think that keeps them from eating each other because
yeah. Well,
big
actually,
bass will eat little bass. In case you,
I had a trip this week where the lady was bringing in about 1.5 pounds, and one about 7 or 8 pounds was trying to eat the small one.
hell yeah,
That was cool.
that's
That was
one of
really
my
cool.
has always been one of my certain times of the year. One of my favorite color crankbaits is a baby bass.
That's I tell you what, that works on Seminole.
Yeah,
I bet that color works anywhere, but especially you got some clear water. Usually about 8 going into May, I really like to throw some swim baits that kind of look like baby bass.
We've had a reprieve from the rain until this weekend. We're supposed to be getting some rain, I think, Sunday.
Yeah, we got some supposed to be coming in.
But Saturday is looking at the forecast. Saturday today is supposed to be the day the show airs. Supposed to be absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce weather. So take
Yep.
advantage of that. And Dale, you're hearing probably the same reports I am too about the salt water.
Yeah, first things first. Did we talk about tuning in the electronics already this morning?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, hey, I'm getting old.
You just excited. You're excited about being able to use your
Charlie
bottom
kept
machine.
saying advertised, and every time I see it, I get because that's what I do for a living. But yeah, saltwater's it's changed a lot. You got a lot of fresh water coming out of the creeks, coming down from up north out of Georgia. It's amazing. You can see the St. Marks and McCullough River and the level they're at. And then you go down the road a few miles down there toward 98 down toward the Osceola, and that river's 5 foot higher. I mean, it's crazy the water. But in general, reds and trout, you go find them in the back creeks. They're in that dark water and where it's warmer around the big rocks and this back estuaries. Went last Friday and with a friend of mine, John Swanson, down there in St. Mark's, and we had a great time. We used twitch baits and caught fish. I mean, just literally caught a lot of fish. and caught them in a very short period of time. In the mouth of the creek, we were catching a lot smaller fish. Once we got in the back of the creek, that's when we found the bigger ones. And, man, you talking about a good time. We were talking about that twitch bait earlier and how to work that, and that's a cool little lure right there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the suspending twitch baits for trout and redfish is, I think Yozuri makes them, the Mirror Lure makes them.
Yeah.
Anything that's suspending baits, they don't sink,
That's
they
right.
don't float.
That's right.
They usually have a lip on them, and you
like
pull
a jerk.
them.
We call them jerk baits.
Jerk
in
bait,
Bass.
yep, same thing. And you twitch it, pull it 3 or 4 times, and it'll dive down about a foot deep. Well, when you stop it, it sits perfectly still,
Yeah.
just like a real fish does in the water.
that's right.
Fish don't really bob up and down vertically.
Yep.
So it's a real natural
And when-
presentation.
and
And,
when
buddy,
you
when they hit them, they hit them with everything. They just like doggone Rebel, Brokeback Rebel
Yeah.
or whatever in the lake.
Yep.
Yep.
They
Repels.
don't mess around when they hit that
Yeah,
thing.
when they hit that, they hit it.
Well, I'll tell you something about the fish, though. They were very impressive. Fat, good heavens. 16, even a 16-inch trout, man, just heavy and really healthy, which is always good to see. But those fish were fat. I caught one of the first ones I caught on that lure. I was fishing. I was actually throwing a topwater plug until I seen John catch 7 of them in a row, and then I changed. He was like, "Well, you think about fishing today, or just come to watch me?" But long story short, they're fat, they're happy, everything looks
Yep.
good for the spring bite. I'll tell you, if these fish move out onto the flats here in another month or so, it's going to be a party. That's for sure. It's going to be a good times. So
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
This is. I'm ready to go. So
I'm ready to.
with one of y'all,
My boat's in your parking lot. You got all the rods and reels here. I think we can make a deal.
Charlie, what you got on your brain? You ready to go fishing again?
I'd love to go fishing again.
I want to get CJ up there when them bass start getting on the bed. That's next.
I'd love to see
Think
CJ
he'd
tied
like to
into
do
about
it.
a 7
Man, I'd
pound,
love
7, 8
that.
pound, 10 pound bass.
I tell you what,
I'd love to see
guys,
JD.
that-
I'd love to see JD tied into one over 10 pounds because I still ain't never done that. So.
Yeah. I tell you what, that was so fun fishing with CJ and watching how he developed through that day. It was awesome.
That's watching. My nephew Dylan, been out hunting this one deer all the last half of the season. We saw this big 8-point, but
Right.
wide, way outside the ears. I think it's like 18 and a half inside. I forget what he said
big
it
deer.
was. And kept seeing it. The neighbor's kid got one that we'd seen on camera, and he was like, "Oh, it's a different deer." And the other morning, a couple mornings ago, I was getting my kids off to school, my daughter and my son, and Jesse said, "I heard a gunshot." And next thing I get a picture from Dylan, and he's got that. He got it. He goes, "Well, the chase is over. And we still got 4 weeks of hunting season, 3.5, 4 weeks of hunting season left over there towards the end of the month." He said, "I'm done. I'm done."
Oh man.
So he every afternoon and every morning he was off sitting on the bucket over there. Anyway, congratulations, Tim. We'll see you.